Hey everybody, this is Anthony with Anthony's Horror and More, and today we are going to be catching up with the movies. I got Hollow Man, Hostel, I Know What You Did Last Summer, and When a Stranger Calls. I watched all these very recently, not for the first time, I've seen them all before, but I haven't discussed them on the channel yet, so I thought it'd be fun to, talk about them with you guys. But first, I would like to shout out Pop's Movie Dungeon. This Saturday, the 8th of October, because I'm not sure when this video is going to upload. It's Friday night right now, so by the time it uploads, it'll probably be Saturday or whatever. But so it's Saturday, the 8th of October. Pop's Movie Dungeon and his buddies, who are Brian Goes Blue, Subjective Perspective Collective, the 4K Tent Revival, and Dr. Ordinary, will all be going over their 5 favorite movies from 1991 to 1995. And it's this series that they've got going on. It's every other Saturday. So this Saturday, they're going through those years. And then in a couple more weeks, they're going down the list. So they started at 2020, did 5 years, and then they just keep going down until they get to 1970. So it's from 2020 to 1970, and the 5 years that they're doing now are 1991 to 1995, and they go through and they just choose any 5 movies from those years. It could be, you could take 2 movies from 95, 2 movies from 91, 1 movie from 93. It doesn't matter how you break it up. You can take all the movies could be from 92 if you want, all 5. It's just your 5 favorite movies from those 5 years. And it's a lot of fun, guys. It's one of my favorite streams. I look forward to it. And these guys, they know all about movies, especially horror, but this isn't just horror based. This is like any movie, action, comedy, drama, horror, any genre. And it's just a blast to listen to these guys, talk about their 5 favorite movies from those years. Because there's just so many to choose from, and it's difficult. I play along as well. You'll see me in the chat. I have my own list that I go through. My number 1 is basically locked in because it's one of my favorite movies of all time, but I won't spoil it here. But it's one of those. It's fun because you can play along too. Just go, like I said, your favorite movies. You can only pick 5 from 91 to 95. You can only pick 5, so any 5 you want between those years. It's very difficult, but it's a lot of fun. And then you get 2 honorable mentions. So, pick a couple that were close to making your top 5, but just couldn't get there, so keep those in mind as well. And, please go over to Pop's Movie Dungeon's channel. He actually, they simulcast it through Pop's Movie Dungeon, Brian Goes Blue, and Subjective Perspective Collective. All 3 of the channels will actually be hosting it at once, but if you just want to remember one of the, just go to Pop's Movie Dungeon. It's easy. Just join. It's at like I said, Saturday, the 8th of October, and it will be anywhere at like 10 to 10:30 p.m. is when they usually get it started. And it's just a lot of fun. I'll be there going through my list. And so please, I'll leave all their links down below. And feel free, please come and join us. Share it on social media, tell your friends about it. Just come and support it because it's a blast. It really is. It's just fun. It's always fun just talking movies, but it's a cool idea. It's a really, really interesting idea. So, and it's only going to get more and more fun because once you get to the 80s, you got Halloween 2, 3, 4, you got and 5, right? And you got Halloween 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? All in the 80s, I believe. And then you've got, A Nightmare on Elm Street. You got a bunch of the Nightmare films in the 80s. You got the Paramount 8 Friday the 13th movies all in the 80s. So it gets really good. I mean, there's a lot of other good movies in the 80s too. Like I said, it's not just horror based, but me and those guys, we're all horror fans, so we definitely tend to favor those movies. But, yeah, it's going to get interesting, more and more interesting as they go along. But, so please go over there and check them out. It's a blast. I'll see you guys over there. And then, check that out. Like I said, Saturday, 10 to 10:30 p.m., Pop's Movie Dungeon channel. Be there. And then I wanted to do one more shout out to my buddy, Pure Hangout. That's his channel. He's got this really cool idea where him and his wife came up with this Halloween advent calendar, and every day they go through and they pick a different movie, like for all 31 days of Halloween, they go through and they watch a different horror movie every night. Recently, they've watched The Devil's Advocate, they watched Maggie, they watched Candyman, the original, and then they'll discuss it, like him, his wife, and his friend Tracy. They'll sit around, discuss the movie, go over key points, and just kind of break it down. It's a good time. It's a nice fun discussion. It's a good discussion. Just go over there, hang out, have a beer, relax, watch them. It kind of feels like you're hanging out with them. I like the way he kind of shoots it like handheld style, so they're just chilling on the couch, and it just kind of feels like you're hanging out with them. So I really like the feel of it. And it's just, once again, it's just fun talking about horror movies and all that kind of stuff. So I love the idea of the advent calendar, though. Like a Halloween advent calendar is such a cool idea. And maybe it will be something that I try next year or something, because I just think that's really, really cool. Go check out Pure Hangouts channel. It's a lot of fun. And that's about it. So right now we're going to be talking about these 4 films. We'll start with Hostel. Hostel, for those of you who don't know, maybe you haven't seen it, but there's a couple of these guys. They're currently in college, but they're taking a break to go abroad, to go to Europe and go to a bunch of different hostels and hang out and party and drink and smoke weed and have sex and all that kind of stuff. All that fun stuff when you're going abroad for like a year or whatever, and then when you get back, go to college, study, do all that bullshit, you know what I mean? They run into some bad people. These ladies there, get them drunk, have sex with them, party with them, and then a couple of the friends actually get roofied, and they get taken away to be tortured. And basically, these really rich people will come out and buy people to torture and kill. And Americans, they have to pay the most for Americans or whatever, if you want, that's, so it's like, so since these guys are Americans, well, 2 of the guys are Americans, the other guy's from, I think Iceland, I think is what it was. But yeah, so, so these guys, they come, and this is just such a scary premise in itself. Like, just the idea of, like, you're traveling, you're having fun, you're having sex, you're smoking, you're drinking, you're just having a good time, and then all of a sudden you wake up and you're bound to this chair, your ankles are shackled, your wrists are shackled, and you're just, you hear other people screaming in the background. It's dark, and you open your eyes, and there's a guy there with a fucking chainsaw, or a hatchet, or a fucking scalpel, just ready to torture the shit out of you. Like, that's just a scary thought in itself. So it's like, just the premise of the movie, I mean, that's very scary. So it's funny because people will talk down about this movie. They say it's just like gore porn and one of those type of movies, and it's like, no, it's like, this movie really has a great concept behind it. And for crying out loud, I mean, it's Quentin Tarantino presents, and written and directed by Eli Roth. Like, really? People shit on that? Come on. That's a great premise for a movie. It really takes its time. Before it gets to all the craziness. It builds the characters. You feel for these guys. You like the characters. And then when they finally do get taken and tortured and all that stuff, I mean, I'm sure most people have seen this movie, but I won't spoil the ending, but it's a lot more than just, gore porn or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, they always call movies like Saw and Hostel and these type of movies like that kind of, and it's like, it's a lot more than that, man. There's a lot to it. Like, this movie is just, like I said, it really builds up to it. And I love the character of Natalia, because she's like the siren of the movie who lures these guys, you know what I mean? And the only reason the one guy doesn't get taken, they roofie him, but he ends up going into a closet and, passing out. So it's just pure luck that he ends up like, they can't find him to take him, because he thinks the closet's a bathroom, and he goes in there and he falls down, he passes out. So yeah, so like that was, the movie, it really does a good job with just building it up and everything. So I like that. And the characters, all the actors do a great job. And it's this, you have this like unnerving, unsettling feeling the entire time you're watching the movie. And, yeah, I mean, and then once it gets to the third act, yeah, then it does turn into like a gore fest, especially this is the unrated cut right here. So it's like, yeah, once it gets, yeah, it does kind of turn into that, but it's great though. You know what I mean? It's just a really well-made, well-directed, well-written horror movie, I think. I just don't think it gets enough credit, because people just, I don't know what it is, but I don't know. Whenever people talk about Hostel, it just seems like they're always kind of talking down about it. But I really like it. At least that first one. I don't really remember the other two. I somewhat remember them, but just barely, But the first one's great. It really is. So yeah, definitely check that one out. Next, we'll talk about Hollow Man. Hollow Man, starring Kevin Bacon, man. Kevin Bacon, I just love him when he does these horror movies. They're just always so good. He does Hollow Man. He does Friday the 13th. He does what's that one called? He's done quite a few. But yeah, in this movie, what is the name of that other one? He's done he's done quite a few little horror movies. But, oh yeah, he even did The Following, which is a really good, kind of like horror drama that he, like a police procedural horror type movie or whatever. That was actually really good. I enjoyed that. Check out The Following if you haven't seen it. It kind of, I guess it doesn't have like the best of endings, for the TV show or whatever, but I still think it's really good. Stir of Echoes. That's what it was called. Stir of Echoes is another one, really well done. So when Kevin Bacon does horror movies, and then he did You Should Have Left, which is also a horror movie, but it's not. I can't really recommend that one. But Hollow Man, Stir of Echoes, and Friday the 13th, I can highly recommend all of those. But anyway, Hollow Man, right here, which is also the unrated cut, it's pretty simple. He takes a serum, He becomes invisible. It's a great cast too, by the way. You got Kevin Bacon, you got Elizabeth Shue, you got Josh Brolin, Kim Dickens, just a phenomenal cast right off the bat there too. And yeah, he's just, he's a scientist and he's just been working on the serum to turn invisible, and he finally figures it out. And when Kevin Bacon does, it turns him mad. I mean, he was already kind of starting to become unhinged to begin with. A little bit. You could see, like, not unhinged, but you could tell that there's something beneath the skin that, he's got this like anger inside of him, and that's why you have Kevin Bacon in this movie, because, he can sell that, he can convey that emotion, it's like, oh, he seems like just a normal scientist guy, but there's a little something underneath, you know what I mean, and when he takes the serum, he just goes full-blown crazy. I mean, mild spoilers on this and stuff, but, he does a lot of crazy stuff. I mean, I'm assuming most of you guys have seen Hollow Man by now. I mean, it's from 2000. But, yeah, he takes the serum and he kills a bunch of people. He rapes a woman. He kills a dog. So he does just about like every evil act you can possibly imagine when he goes invisible. He just goes like stark raving mad, basically. And I think it's really well done. Kevin Bacon for the most part makes this movie. The rest of the cast is good, but Kevin Bacon's like the reason to watch this. And yeah, I think the special effects hold up for the most part. There is some CGI that's a little questionable, but it was shot in 2000. There's really no good way of doing this without using CGI when it comes to those parts. But for the most part, it looks pretty good. At least when he's invisible and they show like the rain hitting him, or like the smoke or something hitting him, and you can see like the outline of him when he's invisible and everything. And I think that looks pretty good. So yeah, no, I think overall Hollow Man's a really well-made movie, and I definitely recommend watching the unrated cut. I think they do a great job with that version. You just get more, So yeah, definitely check out Hollow Man. And then, let's see. I Know You Did Last Summer. I love those 90s slasher movies, so, Urban Legend, I Know What You Did Last Summer, Scream 2, all those fun movies. I love all those. And I Know You Did Last Summer, I'm not going to spoil the ending or anything, because it is one of those mystery slasher type movies, but it's, you got Jennifer Love Hewitt, you got Freddie Prinze Jr., you got Ryan Phillippe, you got Sarah Michelle Gellar, just like such a all-star cast, and this was before any of them got really super big. Yeah, I mean, I think Ryan Phillippe and Sarah Michelle Gellar stand out the most in this film. I think they have the best acting in here by far. I think Jennifer Love Hewitt is okay, but I think the leads should have been Ryan Phillippe and Sarah Michelle Gellar. I mean, Sarah Michelle Gellar went on to do Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which went on for 7 or 8 seasons. Just a great actress. And Ryan Phillippe had done a ton of great movies after. I just think that those two stand out so much more. Their performances really overshadow Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. Freddie Prinze, they do a good job and everything, but they're just, you can tell that the real acting chops are with Sarah Michelle Gellar and Ryan Phillippe's characters in this movie. Other than that, I like the idea of just this guy with a hook going around killing people. You don't really get that too much, like a guy, just like a hook killer. I mean, there's some good kills, some good practical effects, not super bloody. This was back in the 90s, so the MPAA was still kind of iffy, especially when it came to teen violence, kids that were either in high school or just out of high school, playing those characters, so not super over the top violent, but there's some good kills. Mild spoiler, but when Leonard from The Big Bang Theory, he's in this, and he just gets that hook through the jaw and then just drug across like this big hunk of ice or whatever. That was a great kill. And then that was so, but I think everybody does a pretty good job, and I love a good mystery. And with these slasher movies, same thing with like Urban Legend and Scream, I love that mystery. I miss movies like that. I know we just had Scream 5, but I'd like to see some more, like those mystery slasher movies. I just recently watched Tenebrae. That was great as well, another mystery slasher movie. I just love those. I think they're a lot of fun. But I Know What You Did Last Summer, great movie. Really good 4th of July movie, too, which I don't know if there are too many, like, good horror movies set around the 4th of July, but it's a really good 4th of July / summertime, like, horror movie. Really well done. Even the sequel, I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, I even think that's pretty good. I mean, it's not great, but it's better than what people give it credit for. It's still like a fun watch, you know what I mean? But the acting kind of does go down because the supporting characters in that aren't as good as like I said, like Sarah Michelle Gellar and Ryan Phillippe. I mean, you got Brandy, and you got I forgot what that other guy's name is. That's in the sequel, and they're okay, but they're just not as fun as these two, But yeah, that was good. And then When a Stranger Calls, the last movie on here, I gotta say, this is the only one. All 3 of these movies here looked really good on DVD. I have the 4K for I Know What You Did Last Summer here, which has some really nice art. And good on Sony for giving us the original poster art underneath, which is really cool. I did watch this 4K. The transfer looks great. Definitely check that out. Thought they did a fantastic job. Good for Sony for actually doing like a nice slipcover and then the original poster art underneath. Like usually the boutique labels do that. But it's cool to see like the big companies like Sony doing that now too. So it's good for them. The 4K looked great. I watched that as well as the DVD actually. But anyway, like what I was saying, these 3 DVDs all look good, the movies I just went over. But this one, When a Stranger Calls, this DVD was extremely fuzzy. It was like when I turned it on and watched it, I was like, is there something wrong with this? It wasn't skipping or doing anything weird like that, but it was just very fuzzy looking the entire time. I'm like, God, what is going on? Like just almost like oversaturated, like fuzzy kind of look. Like maybe if you adjust like the brightness, I don't know. I wasn't messing with it. I was just enjoying the movie. The movie itself, When a Stranger Calls, the remake, is actually really good. This is from 2006, I believe. Well, let me double check. Yep, 2006. And you have Camilla Bell playing the lead actress, and she pretty much, this all hinges on her shoulders, this entire movie. And I think she does a really great job, actually. She's the one you're following the whole time. There's some supporting characters and stuff and there's the bad guy, but the bad guy doesn't even really, spoilers, I'm not giving anything, but he doesn't really show up until like the 3rd act. This movie just does a really good job. And I will say, I prefer this over the original, because the original makes you think it's going to be this type of film, where it's like somebody's calling in the house, and it's like, doing all that creepy kind of stuff, and they're like stalking the babysitter but it doesn't end up being that at all. Like the original, that was like the opening like 10 minutes, and then the whole rest of the movie is like way different. So this actually gave me what I wanted in the movie, which is just her alone in a big house. She's babysitting a couple kids. She's in this big, beautiful house in the middle of nowhere, of course. And there's this guy going around killing babysitters and stuff, and family, or not babysitters. He's going around killing like families and stuff. And, he comes to this house, and he's basically just calling her relentlessly and just kind of breathing heavy on the phone. And have you checked on the children? And he says that kind of stuff. And it's very creepy. And this movie just does such a good job of slowly building up the suspense. That's, this is a PG-13 horror movie, so there's no blood and guts and gore. you know, it's pretty, you know, it's there's none of that stuff. There are kills in it, but they're not gory or bloody at all. But what it does effectively is it just builds up that tension, kind of, you know, kind of like some of those earlier 70s horror films where it was like it didn't rely necessarily on blood and guts, but it just relied on building up that tension slowly. And then when it finally kicks off, like in the third act, you're like really invested in everything. And it's really well done. I liked it a lot. I thought When a Stranger Calls was great. I just wish the DVD transfer was a bit better, but the Blu-ray is very expensive. It's like a triple pack of like this, I Know What You Did Last Summer, and Vacancy. And Vacancy is a great movie. But it was like $50 for that Blu-ray triple pack, and I wasn't going to buy that. So I just ended up going with this $15 DVD set on Amazon. They also had used copies as well. I think as low as like $7, so you can get like them used too. But the buying this new was $15. You know, it's $14.99, so I thought that was a good deal. So yeah, I highly recommend this 4-pack. I highly recommend this I Know What You Did Last Summer 4K. It looks great. Definitely check it out. And please go check out those channels I mentioned. I'll leave their links down below, but please go check out Pop's Movie Dungeon, the 4K Tent Revival, Subjective Perspective Collective, and Brian Goes Blue. Please go subscribe to all those channels. They're really good guys. They know a lot about movies, especially horror movies. If you're a horror fan, you know, I've had conversations with these guys and talked to them about horror movies for hours, so they know their shit. Definitely go subscribe to their channels. Like I said, go to Pop's Movie Dungeon. You know, this Saturday, like I said, the 8th of October. Like, I'm not sure when this is going to upload. I'm going to try to upload it to, you know, it's probably going to upload on Saturday or whatever. So, like I said, yeah, go check it out. It'll be at like 10:30 p.m. usually. It's usually a later stream, but if you can't catch it, go catch it on the replay. But hopefully you can join me there live. I'll be in the comments. I'll be going through my top 5 list. And it'll be a lot of fun. And also go check out Pure Hangout. Check out his cool, like I said, 31 Days of Horror, like advent calendar thing that he's got going on. I think it's really, really a great idea, and it's a lot of fun. That's it. It's always fun talking to you guys. Please, like I said, leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Let me know which of these 4 movies is your favorite, you know, and let me know also, what do you guys think of the When a Stranger Calls remake? Because I thought it was really good. Yeah, that's it, guys. So this is Anthony's Horror More, and I will catch you on the next time. Peace.